dear. You really don't look so good.
I think our friend Job must have sinned an awful lot to be in this condition.
Maybe this is more of a quiet time. Let's just sit here and be with our friend until he feels a bit better. That might be a while.
Hey kids, and we're back for story time, and this is a story today. It's about Job. If you look in the Bible and you can do some reading, you might call this the story of Job, but we call him Job. That's the English language for you. Anyway, this story doesn't start with Job. This story starts with God in heaven, and God's having a staff meeting. He's got all his people come around and they're reporting what's going on, and they're going, okay, I've got this, you got that covered? Everyone's got everything covered. And God's like, okay, off we go. Let's have a good day. And so all of God's angels, they start going off for what they're going to do. And as they start going away, somebody moves in the other direction and moves towards God. This is Satan. And Satan comes up and goes, well, hello, God. And God's like, hello, Satan. And Satan's like, so what do you think of my world? Which stung God a little bit, because it's really God's world. And God's like, well, yeah, you're getting a lot of stuff your own way. There's plenty of sin going on down there. But have you seen my buddy Job? Yes, I have, said Satan. And God's like, he's pretty good, isn't he? I mean, he does everything you're supposed to do. He's a good guy. And Satan's like, hang on a second. This is the trouble with you, God. He's only being good because you're blessing him. And God's like, I don't think that's it. And Satan's like, that's wrong with all of this. You're so powerful and you keep saying you're a loving God, but you use your power for your own selfish stuff. I don't like it, God. If you let me go at Job, I can assure you he will turn away from you. Stop blessing him. God thinks about it for a moment. See, God never really argues with people. He just demonstrates that he's love. So if Satan's going to accuse him of something, he's going to have to demonstrate that he's not like that. So he goes, okay. Even though Job has been described by God as a righteous and an upright man, God says, okay, go hurt him, but don't touch him. Just take away his stuff. And Satan's like, okay, I'll show you now. So Satan leaves God and goes down to earth and goes to Job and starts taking everything away, all of his stuff. And Job was quite a rich guy. And then Satan's like, I'll take away what he really loves. I'll take away his kids. And so Job starts hearing that this is burned down, that's been stolen, his kids have died. And Job's like, what is going on? And he calls out to God, God, why? Why is this going on? I praise your name because you are wonderful. I just simply don't understand. And Satan goes, argh. So Satan makes his way back up to heaven and comes into another one of God's staff meetings. And as everybody's going away from the staff meeting, Satan comes back up and God's like, so, how'd it go with Job? Well, said Satan, you didn't let me touch him. If you would let me inflict pain on him, I would make him curse you. And God's like, well, this is my buddy Job. I love Job. And he's been really good. I don't want anybody to hurt him, but I guess the only way I can prove to you, Satan, that I am a God of love is to let you do this. It seems a little odd, doesn't it? But the more you think about it, you're like, God is incredibly wise. And sometimes we just have to accept what God thinks and does because he knows more than we do. So God goes, okay, you can go and you can even hurt Job. Just don't kill him. Satan's like, all right, he's mine now. I'm going to get Job to curse God. Watch me. And so Satan comes back down and says, well, hello, Job. And he starts pounding him with sickness and disease and boils and sores. And Job is just lying there like, oh, this is so much pain. And he's lost everything. And his wife is like, why don't you just curl up and die? Curse God and die. And Job's like, no. And the devil's like, oh. And then 3 of Job's friends come. And they're like, well, Job, what on earth did you do? Because we know God is fair and just. And if you did good things, God would bless you. And he's clearly not blessing you right now. So what did you do? He did not do that. Oh, no. He didn't. And just like, I didn't do anything. And then friends are like, I think you did. So they just sat there and waited for Job to curse God. And then the rest of the book of Job has this dialogue where the friends say something and Job says something. And Job starts calling out to God like, why am I hurting like this? Why are you doing it? And eventually at one point, God starts to answer. And he answers through thunder, whoa, and lightning and a cloud. And he starts taking Job onto a virtual reality tour. I don't know if he gave him a headset or not, probably not, but started showing him the universe and showing him how the sun and the planets all work and how all the people here on earth have to live together and how God's got the whole universe and the heaven and the angels and sin trying to come in. And God's showing him how everything works. And God's like, so it's really complicated. Let me give you a little taste of what God was trying to explain. Let's imagine that maybe you have a brother or sister, and maybe you do, and maybe you want something, and your brother or sister wants something else. And so you go to your parents, and you're like, I really want this. And your brother says, no, I don't want that. I really want this. And your parents, who love both of you, have to decide how this is going to work for both of you, because you want different things. So your parents can't give you both what you want at that time. And God's like, I'm holding this whole world together. And I'm doing it with my wisdom and with my love. I'm doing the best that can be done. So Job, how about you take it over for a day and see if you can do any better? And Job's like, oh, no. No. And Job ends up trusting God and says, okay, whatever you say, God, you're bigger, you're wiser, you're smarter than me. And even though I don't understand why I have to hurt right now, I'll trust you. You see, Job never says why bad things happen to good people. It just tells us to keep trusting God. That's what it tells us. And then, God does this pretty cool. I'm so glad he did this because this makes story time really good. God introduced Job to 2 wild animals. And Job was scared of them. Anybody would be scared of them. And God says the world is like this. It's exciting, and it's beautiful, and it's amazing, and it's thrilling, and you will have an incredible life for eternity because I've made life so interesting and so amazing. But life can also be dangerous. I mean, if you don't do it right, life will kill you. And Job's like, I get that. I'm feeling that. And so that's what Job is all about. And his 3 friends were arguing with Job about what God's like. I don't remember Job's friends' names. The Bible does tell us their name. I know the middle guy, the second friend was called Bildad, which is my middle name. So I always remember that one. And then Elohim comes up, not Elohim, anyway, Elohim something, comes and talks to Job and starts helping Job understand who God is, which is something you might get to do for somebody sometimes, especially when they're hurting and life isn't going very well for them. Just encourage people to keep trusting God because He is holding all of this together and will work the whole thing out. It's so good to be back with you guys. I know here at my church, we've had to close Sabbath schools again, so I've come back to at least tell you a story and remind you that God is in control of all this. And I can't wait until you come back to church here. I just miss you guys so much. We do church, and Levon sits back there and hangs out with you guys if you'd like to do that. But otherwise, we'll wait for you to come back for Sabbath school, and I can't wait for that. If you live somewhere else in the world who don't come to my church, hey, it's nice to see you guys too. Remember, God loves all of you and is working out this world so that all of you gets exactly what you need. Oh, it's good to be back. I will see you guys again soon. Okay? Take care. Bye. Testing, okay.
Maybe this is more of a quiet time. Let's just sit here and be with our friend until he feels a bit better.